Hi, everyone. We're live at the Paste Studio in New York right now with Kirk Whalum. Kirk, thanks for being here, man.
What's up? What's up?
Yeah, dude, we appreciate it very much. And joining you today is Andrea. Lisa, thank you very much for coming.
You're welcome. Hey.
Yeah, so this has sounded great so far. The sound check is a total pleasure to listen to. We're looking forward to sharing your music with our audience right now. And congratulations, because Humanité is out in the world on Artistry Music with an imprint of Mac Avenue. And we're going to hear two songs from it. We're going to hear a song from a previous record as well. Can you tell us what's first?
Absolutely. Hi, Mom. And so Humanité was my 60th birthday present to myself. This whole project, running around the world, 14 collaborations from 8 countries. But this song here was written by that lady right there, so I'm going to ask her to introduce it.
Okay, so this is a song that I wrote quite a while back, actually, probably about 8 or 9 years ago. It started with my mother. She pulled me aside when I was about 19 years old, and she said to me, "I noticed something about you. You like to take all the little birds with the broken wings and you try to fix them." And she was actually talking about my friends. And she said to me, "You need to make sure that you are strong before you overexhaust yourself helping others." And I remember she also spoke about, she said it's similar to when you're on the plane and they tell you that same thing every single time you take off. Like, if the oxygen mask comes down, you put on your face first.
Right.
I remember saying to her, I was like, "But what if your child is next to you? That doesn't make any sense to me." She's like, "No, you still have to. You have to put yours on first because, you have to. That's just how it works." And I was like, okay. But I was kind of like, I kind of logged it away in my head, but I don't think I quite digested it. And I wrote the song a couple of years later after remembering the conversation. And I was still kind of working on it until probably last year in March when we were just talking about courage. I booked a one-way ticket to Memphis to meet Kirk Whalum, not knowing what we were going to really record, because about a year ago I got an email saying, "I would love for you to play a guitar solo on my new record. It's going to be called Humanité." And I was like, "Oh, I get to play a guitar solo." And just saying, Kirk Whalum is my favorite musician of all time. And so that, first of all, I was like, I don't know, felt like a dream, but I wasn't too sure if it was real. Being a musician, you kind of have those moments that happen.
Yeah.
So many times, like, "Oh, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, this is going to happen." And then you're just kind of like, yeah. But this happened. So I fly to Memphis and...
From New Zealand.
From New Zealand. I'm originally from South Africa, but raised in New Zealand. And it was actually that moment that song actually settled, and I actually truly understood and applied it to my life.
Yeah, you internalized it.
Yeah, because for a long time, I actually had a band of my own,
Right.
which as a whole, I kept on trying to make this product that I could hear in my head. I was always focused on the whole thing, and I never really took time to focus on me.
Yeah.
And focus on my songwriting, focus on my vocals and my guitar playing. And it was actually Kirk Whalum who gave me inspiration, encouragement to keep doing that. And now I get to play with him, and it's like a dream to me.
As we live and breathe, ladies and gentlemen, Andrea Lisa. The song is called "Get Your Wings Up."
2, 3. You've held on to me, sucked out everything possibly draining to my emotionally helpful kind of nature. My mama once soar. Get your wings up higher. 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 Now he must begin again. Couldn't see what she was deep within. And now, what about the child? Lips can lie, love can make your heart go blind. And my mama once told me, stop taking those broken wings, girl, 'cause you are just like your big brother, making no time to mend his own, making no time to mend his own. Make sure you can fly before you try to make other people soar. Get your wings up higher. 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 Make sure you can fly before you try to make other people soar. Get your wings up higher. 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 And get your wings up. Get your Get your wings up higher. Get your wings up higher. Get your wings up higher.
Andrea Lisa.
Right. Thank
That's a
you.
song I wrote through Andrea.
That sounds amazing. I'm glad that song is out in the world. I remember having that exact same thought when I was 4 or 5 or whatever on an airplane and hearing, wait a minute, that doesn't sound fair. You're going to pay attention to you before you put that oxygen mask on your kid.
It's counterintuitive.
Yeah. And it takes a lot of years to understand why that level of self-interest is important and necessary. And then a lot of years after that to balance that self-interest with that original feeling of fair play and make sure that self-interest doesn't just go off the deep end and turn you into...
And as a parent and grandparent, I got to tell you, man, I've seen it in my own life and in the lives of my kids, my 4 kids who are raising kids. And it is such an important thought because, man, you know what? If you're all wigged out and you're stressed and you're worked up, you can't really be a good parent. You got to find that space to to relax and meditate, exercise. You got to figure it out. Spiritually speaking, you got to have some kind of faith life or something, so that when it comes time for you to be there for your kids, man, you can really do it better.
Yeah, man. Balance is very difficult for me personally, but I do 20 minutes of transcendental meditation in the morning, 20 minutes in the evening, and I'm quite out of balance most of the rest of the time. But those 40 minutes a day are absolutely indispensable to maintaining my sanity and being able to be present in relationships.
That's crucial. And again, you can always just, the person who struggles with that counterintuitive concept, just think about you sitting there, like completely comatose, trying to put your kid's mask on. Well, you can't do it. So, go ahead and take care of yourself, and then put, as they say in the hood, then put they max on.
So can we talk more about, as your extended family, is everybody around Memphis still? I want to talk about your Memphis-ness and the importance of that community.
Yeah, sure. It's funny, Memphis is like a big magnet. I left there. My wife and I met when we were teenagers, like 14 and 15. So we said we'd never go back home, and then here we are back after living in Europe and living in LA and blah blah blah. So yes, there's a lot of my family there in Memphis, but like most families, we're spread out all over the place. But yes, Memphis is you take it with you. Doesn't matter where you go. The sessions that I did, and funny, Andrea talked about, like that the sort of big moment when you hook up with somebody you've admired from afar and sort of look up to them. Well, that was me, with Quincy Jones and this long list of people that I've worked with, Bob James. And yeah, it's in those moments that you realize, wow, it's kind of really important that I'm from Memphis, because the soul that I'm bringing to that moment is something that was, in the soil that I was planted in, and that was Memphis.
Yeah, and so can we talk also about your involvement with Crosstown Arts? Because I know Jonathan Butler was just recently on it, right?
He sure was.
He was in here not too long ago. We're hopefully going to see him again soon. And Bernie Williams also,
Bernie Williams.
We were talking offline about Beacon Theater stories only time I ever saw Bernie was at the Beacon at a benefit. But can you talk more about Crosstown Arts and what it's all about?
Yeah, you had a former New York Yankee here, man. So the series we do is called Cafe Kirk. First of all, the name Kirk means church, and the idea of cafe being a public sort of, secular space. We like the idea of this being a liminal space, a space in the middle that's both spiritual and sacred, sacred and secular, and neither. It's sort of like everything. You're free to just be a spiritual being and not, worry about, but we can't bring that up, because this person's Jewish and I'm Muslim and that blah, blah, blah. No, as a Christian, I can walk into the space and everybody celebrates everybody else's faith tradition through the music. And that's a huge thing right now in the climate that we're in. But Crosstown Arts, it's crazy, man. When I was growing up in Memphis, it was Sears Crosstown, like huge regional center for Sears, where they not only sold things, but they also distributed. They sort of, this was the place where the clearinghouse for all the products that were going to go to Missouri and Mississippi and Kentucky and all over. So this huge, like 6 city blocks place it was 20 years ago, like just a big blight, and bats flying around this place. And somebody had the idea, like, wait a minute, this is just the right size for a place that would be all about social justice, all about equality, all about the arts, and like really be proactive about all those things in this space. And that's what it ended up being. And so my series is held at Crosstown Arts, at Crosstown Theater, right there in the heart of Memphis. And I've had some very special guests like Andrea Lisa, like Jonathan Butler, like Bob James, like, as you mentioned, Bernie Williams, Sheila E., on and on, Jonathan. And yeah, this series is something that's really special on site. But it's once a month, so first Sundays. But it's also something that's very soon going to be available on platforms like this, where people can kind of, attend the concert without being there. But you're welcome to come to Memphis and have that barbecue, and just the next morning just feel like, why did I eat that? It was so good.
Nice. Yeah, there's definitely, there's a Sheila E. tapes, the Pete Escovedo tape sitting right there right now. And we very much try to straddle that line between between secular and sacred, like what you were talking about. And this place is a museum, kind of a church, maybe a little bit like a museum, but everything's vibrating at a specific frequency, and you're helping it to make that happen and continue. So thanks for coming.
Yeah.
And there's more music. You're gonna do a second one. Is this one off Humanité? Or
this is a
one...
song from Humanité as well. There are 14 songs because I hate editing. I was like, no, we got to put them all on there. And so this is a beautiful song. I consider this song to be about human trafficking. It was recorded years ago in the early 70s. Forget the name of the band, but it's called Wildflower. And you'll hear when Andrea sings it. It's really all about women who are exploited. And so this is a beautiful, beautiful lyric, Wildflower.
She faced the hardest times you can imagine. Many times her eyes fall back the tears. And when her youthful world was about to fall in, each time her slender shoulders for the weight of all her fears and the sorrow no one hears still rings in midnight silence in her ears. Let her cry, for she's a lady. Let her dream, she is just a child. Let the rain fall down upon her. She's a free and gentle flower growing wild. And if by chance that I should hold her, let me hold her for a while. And if I love just one possession, I would pick her from her garden to be mine.
right. Thank you.
You are very good.
Thank you.
Skylark is the name of that band.
Sky, that's exactly right.
I cheat. I mean, I've got the internet right in front of me. So
You're
I cheated with
awesome.
that.
I just thought you had a great memory.
We talked a little bit about the importance of the Memphis community. I want to expand that and talk about the importance of experiencing communities and cultures that are not your own, and specifically how that relates to some of the guest artists on this album and the companion documentary as well. I mean, it's a very, very multicultural affair. Can we talk a little bit about all of those things?
Oh, I can talk for a long time about that, but I'm gonna cut it short. Say that Martin King spoke of the last couple of 3 years of his life of what he called the beloved community, or say the beloved community. And of course, Martin was gunned down, blocks from where I grew up. About 14, 15 blocks from the house that I lived in as a 9-year-old with my parents. And when I looked around me and saw everybody just, in serious grief about this thing that happened, I knew that it was bigger than just, oh, he was a good man and, he got killed. It's like it happens a lot. But this was bigger. This was a global event. And I would even say universal. Like this was a spiritual battle lost, and it was right before our eyes, and the person of this guy who embodied the spirit of Christ. Like, as a believer, I think about how, someone who is completely nonviolent and here to, empower and love and accept unconditionally. But that's the one they go, oh no, we can't have him, around here talking that stuff. So they rubbed him out, So Martin King is a type, really, in this sense of Christ, and so the season that we're in, the epoch that we're in, it reflects, the opposite of that spirit. It's a very sort of xenophobic, fearful, be afraid, be very afraid, especially if this person doesn't look like you. Maybe it's from another neighborhood or from another country and speaks another language. And so that nonsense, there's a lot of art that's being created in this season. I'm certainly not the only one. Andrea's a songwriter who's writing a lot of songs now about this too. But it is a counterweight, sort of insurgent against the darkness that, that we see around us, the fearfulness and xenophobia. So, what do? We get on a plane and we go and make music with people who don't look like us and who don't speak our language. And for instance, in the case of Afghan, one of the artists is from Indonesia, and he's got 5-6 million followers on social media, but he's not, again, the concentric circles of cultures and life that are not connected until you connect them. And so that's what we get to do. We get to connect those circles. And so Afghan is a great example of somebody I got to sit in with when I was there doing the Java Jazz Festival, which I do pretty often, huge festival in Jakarta. And there I walk up on stage with this kid I had never met. And yeah, man, come sit in. And I little did I know, because I went in through the back stage and I walked out and there was 5,000 screaming girls. And I'm like, oh, they're glad I'm here. Like, no, they're glad he's here. And so, I get a chance, similar to with Andrea, I get to sort of, to tap into this youthful energy. And, my nickname is Unkirk, Unkirk. So I'm Uncle Kirk coming around, basically sharing, hopefully, the wisdom and sort of experience of this other, existential, kind of world that I lived in, here in New York, playing with Bob James and playing with Earl Klugh and playing with artists that we all love. And so here's Afghan going, well, I want some of that in my music. And so the 60-year-old dude and the 20-something dude get together and we make music, and the people loved it. And so that really is the spirit of Humanité. Like, we can do stuff together that proves to people that whatever that is you were afraid of is the thing you actually need in your life.
Yeah, there's more commonality between us than you suspect right off the bat. You're not about to get in a fight that with the dude whose food you just ate or with the lady whose music you just enjoyed together. Well, that's outstanding, man. Thank you for coming here and saying that so eloquently. It's an important message, and we're always happy to use this platform to amplify eloquent voices who say messages like that. So thank you.
You got it.
And there's more music. There's a third song coming
Yes,
out today.
indeed.
Can you tell us what's third?
Yeah, so I toured with a lady named Whitney Houston for 7 years. It's funny because being in New York and Manhattan in particular, I can remember, yes, we played Radio City Music Hall, we played the big venues, but the thing I remember is being here for months rehearsing. So pretty sure we rehearsed like right down the street from here. But this is a song she recorded, and I did a version of it later called Same Old Love. We want to thank the band.
Kirk, yeah, thank you so much. Andrea, thank you so much. This has been great. And best of continued luck on Humanité. It's out right now on Artistry, which is an imprint of Mack Avenue. There is a companion documentary that's out as well. And there are a ton of tour dates. I don't know if you ever go to your website, but they just scroll up when you click on tour. Yeah. And it's a satisfying list because there's like hundreds of them.
Yeah, thank you.
Very many tour dates. You're day after tomorrow, you're in Chicago. And then there's a New Year's Eve run at Blue Note Tokyo. You're at Blues Alley Club for 4 nights in the middle of January. There's tons of dates. They're all, I think, through like the middle of March.
Yes.
They're announced. It's all up at kirkwhalum.com. And this sounded outstanding. Thank you for coming, and travel safely between all those dates and come back anytime.
You got it. Thanks a lot, man. Thanks, Andrea.